Okay, this is called The New Guy Shows Other New Guys How to Field Strip a Kimber 1911 handgun. I'm learning, okay, but there are some things that I learned on my own that weren't in the videos I was being shown. So, here's the weapon, and field stripping it is a little tricky. I found out that it was pretty difficult in part because the factory spring is pretty strong, but I also didn't understand exactly how the slide stop went in and out, and I didn't understand things like pulling the magazine out or certain steps don't work. At least that's what I've been able to figure out anyway. And I did sometimes forget to use the little tool. The little tool that comes with it, the little paperclip thing. But I think I've gotten pretty good at it so far. So here you go. This right here, that is the back of the slide stop right here. And so that's what I'm going to be pushing on the back when we get to that step, just so you know. First thing I'm going to do, it's actually the second thing because I just was playing with the gun, but I'm going to pull the slide back, okay, so it's locked in place with the slide stop. Pull out the magazine, it's empty. I'm going to check in there to make sure there's absolutely nothing in the chamber. Because safety first, right? Alright, now the next thing I want to do is put this tool into the little, there's a little hole right in there that you're going to want to slide that into. So it looks like that. See that? Alright. Sorry, watching a little Indiana Jones while I'm doing this. Alright, now I'm going to bring the slide forward again, and I'm going to check to make sure that that little tool in there is arranged properly to fit through with the barrel. Because you're going to want that to actually go through that end right here. You're going to want it to go through that end. So you see how I've got it pretty much lined up there? Now here's the tricky part. On this side, I'm pushing that little button, and I'm pulling this thing back and feeling for a spot where it clicks. See, now that button is now pushed in, and on the other side, you can see that slide stop is out a little bit. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it out. And sometimes it's a little hard to get out of there. I don't know why. Alright, so now you've got this without the slide stop, and it'll just ride right off. So I've got the housing out. And what I've got now is this slide with the barrel and the spring assembly here. So I'm just pulling that back and pulling this little, see this little lever? Pulling that back, and this will, well, all my playing around, my little thing got messed up here, my tool. So I'm going to realign that a little bit. And I just did that by pushing up on this so that I could align that. And see, as I pull this out of there, that's got to come through that area. See how that needs to be right on point there? So now you can take this apart. I took that apart already. I think it's an important part of knowing my weapon, but I'm not going to take it apart again because that's a pretty strong spring. Now in order to get the barrel out right here, make sure that you're taking this little loop and pushing it forward. So it looks like this, and then it'll just slide out like this. Okay, so now all the pieces are taken apart except for the spring assembly, so we're good. Now to put it back together, I'm just going to ride the barrel back in, but I'm going to listen, because this barrel is loose in here, it'll snap in place. You hear that snap? And it's in there pretty good now, and I'm going to pull that little ring back. The old guys are laughing at me right now because I don't know what all the parts are called. I'm going to put the spring back in. I'm an old guy. What am I saying? The experienced men are laughing at the newbie. But at least I'm helping some of you, I hope. So that just goes right back in there. Now there's, let me show you this. You see how that's got little curved spots on there to rest on top of the barrel? Make sure you rest it on top of the barrel using those little curved spots. And then seat it again all the way in. See where this fits right in there. And actually right now you could pull the tool out because you're done with the tool. The tool just is pulled back so you can get the spring assembly out to get to the barrel, as far as I can figure. I don't think there's any other need for it. I think you could pull that tool right off. I just don't want to snap my finger in there. So now, you got to be careful with how you put this back because it'll get caught on the body of the gun if it's not seated in there properly. And of course, if you're, I'm just field stripping this, you'd oil it if you were cleaning your weapon. But I'm just practicing because it's a new weapon. I haven't had a weapon since I was in the military, so I'm just interested. All right, so it slides back on, and now that it's back on, I'm just going to snap that piece off there, and I'm back to having a weapon without a slide stop. Now, there are people who talk about what's called an idiot mark. An idiot mark just is a spot where you didn't know how to put this slide back on, or I didn't. Fortunately, I avoided making an idiot mark. And all an idiot mark is it's a little scrape right along here where you were trying to put the slide stop in, but you weren't being careful, or you didn't know to be careful. And they call it's an unfortunate name, an idiot. I don't want to call anybody an idiot, but there are good ways to prevent yourself from messing it up. So what I do is I just kind of put it in place here and put my thumb here. See how far out that is? Because you got to slide back. You got to take the slide back in order to put the slide stop back in. So I just got it out here a little ways, and then I'm going to ride this. Well, actually, I'm going to put my thumb on top of it. And I'm going to ride this back a little. It just takes a little tiny bit to get it in there. Now what I'm doing is I'm lining it up. See that? I've lined it up over the top of this piece right here. See that there's a little part spring-loaded right there that holds the slide stop in place. And on the slide stop itself, this is curved. It's on an angle so that you can just snap it in by pushing that little piece apart or out of the way. So I'm lining it up right on top of there, and I'm just going to, with my thumb, push on that little wire, that little spring-loaded thing in there. Hear it snap? And that means I don't have it all the way in yet. See, it's still away, but it's at least seated in that spot so that you won't get the idiot mark. Okay? Now, the only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push in and up on here. And I'm sorry this is backwards to what the gun is because I'm doing it backwards, but I mean the film is reversed. But I'm just going to look for that little half moon spot and press my finger up and in, and then it's in place completely. See that? You got the whole thing here, and now I can roll it back. Everything's good. Put the magazine back in. And everything's back together. Ready to go. All right. This is a great weapon. I haven't shot it yet. I just feel that it's really important to get to know the weapon, and it's helpful to know the little secrets that aren't in all the field strip videos, and to know how not to get the idiot mark. I suppose it doesn't matter. If you get the idiot mark, the gun will fire just as fine. There are many people out there who say, so what? There are other people who are fussy about how their weapon looks. They want it to be pretty. I didn't buy my weapon to be pretty. I bought it for self-defense. So it doesn't matter to me. Fortunately, I learned to be careful on my own beforehand, and I didn't get an idiot mark on there, and now I know how to prevent it. And I just want to let you know too, and some of the other secrets for how this works, because I had a terrible time trying to figure this out. Finally did it. Glad I did, and I hope you have a good time with your field stripping experience with your Kimber as well. Thanks.